Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem. I have many issues with this bill. I'll try to address the easy ones first. Since this is already law, as was just explained, I am confused as to why we're rerunning law that's already law, except for the fact that it will make something potentially possible here, which I think is necessary to address, and that is, does the criminal record of the individual follow the individual? If they change their name 2 times, 10 times, if they go back and forth between male and female, or however they want to do that, does the criminal record follow the individual? Because there are a lot of victims out there that need this protection. There are neighborhoods that need this protection. These are felons. They're not people that have speeding tickets. And we need to make sure that their criminal record can be seen specifically if it involves some type of sexual crime. We have databases for that, and if they can change their name and continue to change their name, because there's no provision that says they're doing this once, and there's no provision that says they're doing this from one sex to the other sex. So does their criminal record follow them? And what does that look like when it comes to any kind of databases? We've got to do something in this house that protects people. Everything we're doing puts people at harm. It's putting children at harm, and we're doing it day after day after day. When do we do something that actually protects people rather than protects the criminals? And so I move Amendment 003 and ask for it to be properly displayed.
The amendment is properly before us. Please proceed.
So I want to read this for all of you with poor eyesight. Publication of change. This is line 4. Public notice of a change of name shall be given at least 3 times within 21 days after the court orders publication pursuant to section 1315-101 1.5. The person changing the person's name shall cause, that's one of the changes, shall cause such public notice to be given in a newspaper published in the county in which the person resides, and here's another change, and in each county in which the person has a felony conviction for the previous 10 years. If no newspaper is published in that county, such notice shall be published in a newspaper in such county as the court directs. And then strike number 4. And then line 16, renumber succeeding section accordingly. This is purely, the only reason for this is purely to protect people. These are felons, and we're going to allow them to hide what they have done, and specifically be able to hide the fact that they could be sexual predators, and that's what their felony was. We have laws about this right now. Why would we allow this bill to make it possible for sexual predators to now hide? We already have laws on the books to keep that from happening. We have databases, we have registries to make sure that we are protecting children, protecting people, protecting women. And this bill will make it possible for somebody just to hide. I'm a felon, I changed my name, changed it 2 or 3 times, change whatever idea that I have, and then eventually it's lost. And even if there's somehow that's going to be in the database still, we're already using words like dead naming to make sure that we cannot bring up their original name. So if we are already using terminology, it's not legal terminology, it's not credible terminology, but if we're already using terminology that says dead naming, well, how are we going to ever hold somebody accountable for their felonies, their sexual predator background, if we can't use their name?
Lies and blasphemy! Lies There will be no outbursts from the gallery. We'll stand in a very brief recess. The committee will come back to order. Representative Bottoms, you may proceed.
Thank you. I'll back up a little bit to make sure we got all that. If we're already using terminology that says we cannot use somebody's real name, the phrase there is dead naming. If we can't do that, or we also misgender, that's another term that we're using. How are their felonies, how is their sexual predator mentality ever going to be known when they live next door to an 8-year-old girl? We're not allowed to bring this stuff up. How are we going to be able to do this? This bill makes it possible for them to hide behind all kinds of culturally accepted, not legally accepted, but culturally accepted changes and ideologies and things like that, yes, many people in this chamber embrace. That's your privilege, that's your right. But we're doing something legally that is going to put some, not culturally, not socially accepted, but legally will put people in danger. And so we have to have something like this in this bill. We must. This is the idea that somehow the criminal element is not going to intentionally use this. It would be naive at best to think that the criminal element would not use this to just keep making the trail more difficult, and pretty soon you've hidden behind all kinds of different changes. You've hidden, and these are ideological changes, and you keep hiding behind them, so now you can continue to perpetrate the same crimes that got you felony status in the first place. So I strongly urge an aye vote on Amendment L003.